I always love giving myself a drum roll. I don't know, there's just something about it. Good morning. What is today? Thursday. Today is Thursday, March 2nd. I'm jumping on again. I got on the bandwagon here, so I'm jumping on, and I figured I'm just trying to, let's see, what am I trying to do here? Okay, here we go. Trying to share it onto Facebook because I don't know how to share it to any place else. So if you guys tuned in yesterday, thank you. And thanks for coming back. This is Coffee Talk with Karen. I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. Incidentally, I drink adaptin, is that what they call it? Coffee. So it's kind of it's a mushroom coffee actually, and it's supposed to help so you don't have the highs and lows. It's actually supposed to be very healthy for your brain as well. I was always an espresso drinker for anybody that has followed my show, and I tried to break free from that, and now I drink this adapted, I think I'm saying it right, adapted coffee. I'm getting used to it still, but I think the detox from the espresso has taken place, so I'm in good shape. Anyway, you are listening to Coffee Talk with Karen. I was on yesterday and I was talking about changing your thoughts and just interrupting those loops, if you will, to get away from your regularly scheduled program. Of course, I haven't had enough coffee yet, so I'm a little tongue tied. I used to do Coffee Talk at 11, and that's probably a better time for me, but it's all good. So if you are listening on the replay, feel free to comment, and don't forget to hit that follow subscribe button, because once you do that, every time I go live, you'll get an alert so that you can join in, or obviously you can always listen at your own leisure. What is it? Real Talk with KarenStacy.podbean.com, if I'm not mistaken. So today I wanted to talk about how willing are you to accept. I could go on with this, right? I could do like 1,500 shows on how willing are you to accept. So today I'm going to say, how willing are you to accept grace? What does that even mean, right? So what I have noticed, I did a lot of shows during the pandemic. Actually, we did a month right around for Thanksgiving. I did 1 month of, being grateful. And every day I read off something and we discussed how we felt grateful for these things. So again, it's a mind manipulation, which was what we were talking about yesterday, interrupting the loops. So again, mind manipulation, as far as accepting grace. So I've noticed I'm not very good at accepting anything, honestly. I am not good. And most of us that have a strong personality, most of us that are determined and independent, and all of those things that go along with that, we are not very accepting. So, accepting of grace, we are not that accepting because, like, for instance, if somebody gives you a compliment, I know for me, I brush it over as quickly as possible because it makes me uncomfortable that someone is complimenting me. Now, what's wrong with that? There's a lot wrong with that, right? You should have grace. You should be grateful. Maybe I'm not using the word correctly. Maybe not grace, but you should be grateful that someone is giving you a compliment, and instead of my first reaction is not just to say thank you because I'm like fighting the compliment, right? Does this make sense? No. So that's why I post the question of how accepting are you? And again, I can go off of this for like, I don't know, 50 shows. So, how accepting are you when people give you grace? How accepting are you when people are kind to you? How accepting are you when someone gives you a compliment? Right now, I'm a Bronx girl, so I'm always thinking there's like the modus operatus going on. And I'm always thinking, so somebody gives you a compliment, it's because they want something from you, right? So it's a mindset. And is that true? Well, it could be, right? It absolutely could be. People will butter you up to get what they want. So it is totally feasible that someone is complimenting you for their own gain, right? And maybe that's why some of us aren't as accepting of it because we feel it's disingenuous. But I have to say that I think if you don't carry that mindset and you can take the compliment for what it is, maybe it's not so bad, right? I wish that people were live with me right now and could give some feedback on it. But if you are listening to the replay, feel free to comment because I would love to hear your input. I actually do love people's inputs. Of course, some people could have better tactics when giving their input, leading with kindness instead of trying to attack. There's someone that made a comment actually from yesterday's show, and they said, and I curse or this and that. And you know what? They were right. I do curse. I do say when you're live, and right now I'm talking to myself basically. So your thoughts are all over the place sometimes. So yeah, sometimes you do an or whatever because you are tripping over your word. I'm human and I'm talking to myself. There's no one else here. There's no one else standing here that I'm looking at, that I'm interacting with. So I'm trying to compose my thoughts. So sometimes you do say and sometimes you do stutter a little bit, and it's all well and good. You can convey that without being, again, is it a compliment or an insult? And it's okay. You can make a constructive criticism to somebody, but you don't have to be a jerk when you do it. So again, going back to what I was saying, I do find it personally difficult to accept compliments, to accept kindness, because sadly, most people that are kind to you or that compliment you, we always think there's an ulterior motive. So again, trying to change the mindset, right? Be mindful that someone could be trying to butter you up. But at the same token, is it so bad to accept a compliment? Is it so bad to accept kindness? So what? Even if it is disingenuous, so what? Somebody said you're beautiful. Somebody said you're hot. Someone said you're intelligent. Someone said you're creative. Someone said you're kind. So, whatever it is, why can't we just accept that? So again, it goes back to interrupting that loop, because you know, the inner dialogue is so important because a lot of times we are telling ourselves that we aren't all of those things. So when someone is saying, I do it a lot. My son will take a picture of me and I'm like, oh my God, I look awful in that picture. And he's like, Mom, why do you always do that to yourself? You look good. And I'm like, because I don't feel like I look good. And he's like, Mom, you look good. So now it doesn't matter what anybody else says, right? It matters how you feel about yourself. But then you have to kind of tell yourself, maybe I shouldn't look at myself that way. Maybe I should look at myself differently. Maybe I should accept the fact that maybe I do look good. Maybe I should accept the fact that I'm getting a compliment and I'm receiving the compliment. But so many of us are so hard on ourselves. And not that we don't believe in ourselves, but it's very, very difficult to change your mindset. And that comes from like deep rooted things, right? So maybe for somebody like myself, growing up, I was a dancer and I'm, classically trained in ballet, modern, all types of, dance and classically trained. I went to Performing Arts High School. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on where I am in my life at this point, uh, I wasn't built to dance at a ballet bar. I was built to dance at a strip club bar. So no matter how hard I tried and no matter how great of a dancer I might have been, I didn't look the part. So I've always had those I don't want to say issues, right? But maybe they are issues, but the perception that I didn't look the part. So you have to build your confidence back up and you have to believe in yourself, but it's ingrained in you. So how do you do that? You interrupt your regularly scheduled program of beating yourself up and you accept yourself for who and what you are. And you give yourself grace. So is it easy to do? No. I try to give examples because sometimes I know for me, I'm just kind of like, I'm a visual person and I kind of need to understand it more to implement it. So I always try to give examples to people so that they can look at it in a different eye and perhaps view it differently. So again, if you're I'm sorry, I don't mean, I'm tripping on my words. What we were discussing is how accepting are you of grace, of compliments, of kindness. And so I've been working on trying to be more accepting of these things. So that's what my words for the day are for you guys. Try to be more accepting of kindness, of compliments, of grace, giving grace, receiving grace. Try not to be so hard on yourself. Try to change the inner dialogue so that you're not constantly fighting receiving all of these things. I hope that makes sense. But a lot of times we do that. I know I do that in particular. I fight receiving compliments. I fight receiving kindness because you're just so leery of where it comes from. And I guess we really shouldn't be leery of where it comes from. We should just be grateful it comes in, be mindful of where it comes from, and allow it to just feed us and nourish us and not, take that. I mean, like, don't, how do I say this correctly? Like, don't take it as a fool. Like, understand that if someone is leading you to a place, then trust your instincts. But if somebody is giving you a compliment, just try to say thank you. Try to accept it and try to say thank you, which is, like I said, for me, a different a difficult thing. So try to accept grace, try to accept compliments, and try to accept kindness. So that's what I want you to do today. And if anything I said today resonates with you when you listen to it, please comment. I appreciate your comments. I just kind of go off the cuff and I try to talk about things that I know are uncomfortable and sometimes we just don't think about, and I'm working very hard to interrupt my regularly scheduled program. So I am trying to help anyone that wants to interrupt their regularly scheduled program. So thank you for having some coffee with me. This is Coffee Talk with Karen, and we were discussing how willing you are to accept kindness, grace, and compliments. And I think I might work off of this because the list goes on and on with what are you willing to accept. So I think I'm going to build off of this one. So thank you guys for tuning in. Again, please do hit that like, follow, subscribe button. I'm on all podcasts you look at. There I am. Real Talk Karen Stacy. Thank you guys so much. You can follow me on social media, yada, yada, yada. You know the drill. And remember, tomorrow isn't promised, so don't be an asshole today. I wish you much love and light, and try to be willing to accept compliments today. Give it a shot. See what happens. Love you guys.